may soon be removed from state voter rolls. Ohio farmers are closer than ever to being able to grow hemp, and a Democratic presidential candidate makes an appearance in Ohio before tonight's debate. Newswatch starts right now. Over 200,000 Ohio voters may soon be purged from Ohio voter rolls. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for all news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Allie Eldridge. Thanks for joining us. County boards all over the state have mailed last chance notices to over 235,000 Ohio residents. Residents can respond to those notices or go to voteohio.gov to update their voter information. Athens County Republican Party Chairman Pete Kalidas says that this isn't an uncommon practice, especially in college towns.
Problem with boards of elections to keep the voter rolls current, and particularly in this town where you have a lot of students that register and they'll vote, one election, two elections, whatever, and then they graduate and they're gone. And like I said, the last thing they're going to think of when they graduate is go to the Board of Elections and cancel their voter registration.
Ohio law requires election officials to remove voters from the rolls if they haven't voted during a 6-year span. Southeastern Ohio farmers may be eligible for federal aid. This due to heavy rain and flooding halted spring production and led to production losses. Farm operations in affected counties can be considered for help through the Farm Service Agency. Aid includes emergency loans. Record rainfall prevented farmers from planting crops such as corn and soybeans. Vice President Mike Pence is in southeastern Ohio today. Pence is visiting Lancaster for the groundbreaking of an automotive supplier's plan. The supplier, Magna Seating, which is a part of Magna International, is expected to employ 300 workers in Lancaster. Magna International is a Canadian global automotive supplier from Ontario, Canada.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm your forecaster, Blake Hardesty. Around the Athens area tonight, it's going to be pretty mild out there, 79 degrees for our temperature right now. We do have a chance for some showers out there this evening, and it's pretty humid out there with 70% humidity. That's going to be rising as we go into the overnight hours tonight. So let's take a look around the conditions around the area. We have similar conditions around most of the area. 80 degrees in Marietta, 80 degrees in Ripley, 81 degrees is the warm spots in Ironton and Columbus, 78 up in Newark and 79 up in Cambridge. We all have a chance of seeing some showers out there tonight, and that's because of this cold front that's going to be moving through the area. We have a low pressure system over here in Indiana that's going to be moving its way into Ohio as we go into the overnight hours tonight. That's going to give us some showers out there from precast. We have some showers out there at the moment. Some of those showers are going to be pretty heavy downpours sometimes, so if you're out there driving on the roadways, make sure you slow down and take your time. And those showers are going to be making this way through the area tonight and into tomorrow. Allie, on my full forecast, I'll let you know when these showers are going to be ending and when we're going to get some more sunshine.
Thanks, Blake. Ohio farmers will soon be able to grow hemp. Today, Governor DeWine signed a bill that allows the cultivation of industrial hemp and legalizes the manufacture and sale of CBD products from the plant. Hemp contains only trace amounts of the psychoactive ingredient found in marijuana, another plant in the cannabis family. CBD products can contain just 0.3% THC under the new law. Ohio's Department of Agriculture must create rules for a hemp program before farmers can begin planting. The federal government legalized hemp cultivation last year. You may be required to have a front license plate for a few years longer. The requirement for front plates is set to be eliminated on July 1st of next year under the new state transportation budget. But 2 Republican state senators introduced legislation seeking to keep the requirement in place. Police say the front plate is a valuable tool in solving and preventing crimes. Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren was in Ohio yesterday for a town hall. While in Toledo, Warren debuted her trade policy and how her cabinet would not feature former lobbyists. Warren's town hall comes before tonight's second Democratic debate hosted in Detroit. The Massachusetts senator made it clear that she enjoyed the town hall.
This is so much more fun than I thought it would be. It's a chance to talk about the things that I've worked on for all my life. I've been studying and working on why it is that families all across this country work harder than ever and still fall behind. Talking about what's broken, and now I've got a chance to get out there and talk about the plans, about what it is that we can do to fix it.
Warren is one of the highest polling Democrats, polling in third Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders in most polls. West Virginia lawmakers want control of a recent $37 million settlement with opioid manufacturer Morrissey. Members of the House of Delegates asked the Attorney General to let the legislature handle the money. They want to use the money for opioid treatment programs rather than on administrative costs. A spokesman for Attorney General Patrick Morrissey says his office looks forward to working with the legislature and the governor to return the money to the state. A park worker in West Virginia dies after falling into the Ohio River. The West Virginia Department of Commerce says the body of Ed Pico was found on Monday morning. Pico fell into the river while working at Blennerhassett Island Historical State Park near Parkersburg. A cat controversy near Cleveland. Feeding stray cats and dogs is illegal by state ordinance in Garfield Heights, a suburb of Cleveland. But that doesn't stop Nancy Segula, who fed stray cats that showed up on her porch regularly. Her neighbors complained, and she was cited and fined multiple times by the city. Her last citation came with a harsher penalty, a 10-day jail sentence that she says is too harsh.
It's too much of a sentence for me for what I'm doing when there are so many other people out there that do so many bad things.
Nancy Segula is supposed to report to jail August 11th. More water issues in Flint, Michigan, and a community is in mourning following a mass shooting in California. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
A Northern California community in shock and heartache. This after 3 people, including 2 children, were fatally shot Sunday at an annual event. As authorities uncover more on the suspect, residents of the area vow to move forward. John Lawrence reports.
Gilroy, California coming together after a crisis. Residents of the area thinking of those killed and injured in Sunday's shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival.
The Gilroy community will mourn, but we will get through it.
Among the victims, 6-year-old Stephen Romero.
They told me he was in critical condition, that they were working on him, and then 5 minutes later they told me that he was dead.
13-year-old Keila Salazar and 25-year-old Trevor Irby were also killed in the rampage that has shaken the community.
You know, before that time, they were just thinking about how garlic ice cream would taste. and now their lives are changed forever by this experience.
Authorities are learning more about the suspect. An account bearing his name posted 2 Instagram messages shortly before the shootings, one referencing the Garlic Festival and another that said, "Fire danger high today."
We found out that the rifle that this suspect used was an SKS. It was a AK-47 type assault rifle. It was purchased legally in the state of Nevada.
The suspect was killed by officers who responded to the scene.
Really don't expect that, you know, being from a quiet boy that doesn't get in trouble or anything.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
At least 12 people were injured in the shooting. Still no official word about a possible motive. New water-related issues in Flint. This long line going on for miles is full of people waiting to pick up bottled water in Flint. Water problems in the city first received national attention 5 years ago. That's when Flint switched its water supply to cut costs and ended up exposing residents to dangerously high levels of lead. Both the Federal Environmental Protection Agency and the state of Michigan say Flint's water is now safe to drink, but many of the city's residents remain skeptical. Considering a move to a southern state after retirement, we'll let you know if that makes a difference. That story's still ahead.
And we have more rain showers tonight and possible storms and even more rain on the way. I'll have more details about that in the weekend forecast next on Newswatch. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell its story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Tonight around the Athens area, it's going to be pretty comfortable out there tonight. 79 degrees at the moment. It is pretty humid out there at the moment, looking at 70% humidity, and that's going to be rising as we go into the overnight hours tonight. Looking at a chance of showers out there tonight as well. Taking a look at pre-subcast at the moment, looking at these pop-up showers around the area. Possible heavy downpours at times, so if you're out there on the roadways, make sure you be careful out there and you don't be hydroplaning out there. These rain showers are going to be going through the area as we go in tonight. It's going to be cooling down a little bit tonight to 66 degrees. We will have those pop-up showers for most of the evening tonight. Even a few thunderstorms are out there as well. None of these storms are going to be severe, but you still might hear a grumble of thunder too, but nothing to be concerned about. While southwest winds are 0 to 5 miles per hour. Around the region tonight, we have similar conditions around most of the area. 67 in Ripley and 67 in Ironton as well. 68 degrees, a warm spot up there in Columbus, and 65 up in Cambridge. We all have a chance of seeing those scattered rain showers out there tonight, as those rain showers are going to continue into tomorrow. 8 a.m. looking at some lingering showers possible. 67 degrees out there with a 20% chance of those rain showers. And by noon, a new wave of storms moving through the area. 75 degrees. We have 20% chance of some afternoon storms out there tomorrow. And by 4 p.m., 83 degrees. We'll have a 30% chance of those scattered storms continuing into tonight, into tomorrow evening as well. Taking a look at precipcast, this is what I'm talking about, these scattered storms. The models are picking up a little bit of rain through here. Not a lot. That's why I kept the percentage of those that precipitation pretty low. These scattered showers throughout most of the southeast Ohio are going to be moving through the area and dissipating by tomorrow evening. Around the region tomorrow, temperatures in the mid-80s for most of the area. 85 in Ripley, 85 in Ironton as well. 82 is our coolest spots up there in Cambridge, New Martinsville, and Newark as well. All of us have a chance of seeing those thunderstorms and scattered rain showers out there tomorrow. But by tomorrow night, those rain showers and thunderstorms do clear out of the area, giving way to some clear skies. And behind those storms, we're going to have a dome of high pressure moving into the area, which is going to give way to plenty of more sunshine out there. Thursday, looking at 84 degrees. That sunshine does finally return. The humidity, though, is going to be pretty sticky out there. The lowest humidity out there for Thursday is going to be 60%, so it's going to be pretty warm out there and very sticky out there. By the afternoon, we're looking at humidity up in the 80s by around 6 p.m. on Thursday, and we'll have north winds, not much wind out there from the north of 0 to 5 miles per hour. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast, 84 degrees by your Thursday. Sunshine throughout the rest of the week. On Friday, 86 degrees, and that sunshine continues through the weekend. 86 degrees on Saturday and Sunday as well. That sunshine continues through the start of the work week. 87 degrees on Monday, 87 degrees on Tuesday. Alex, going to be very sunny and very hot out there.
Thank you, Blake. Could moving to a different zip code once you reach retirement add years to your life? Britt Conway has more on a new study.
A plant-based diet could help prevent type 2 diabetes. That's according to a new study in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine. Researchers found that people who ate a plant-based diet lowered their risk of getting type 2 diabetes by 23%. And when sticking to the healthier items like fresh fruit and veggies, whole grains, nuts, and legumes, and avoiding those beverages sweetened with sugar and refined carbs, they lowered their risk even more by another 30%. And the benefits of the plant-based diet are seen in conjunction, though, with regular exercise and activity. But the results were true among all participants, regardless of age or starting body mass index. Researchers stress, too, that you don't need to be fully vegetarian to enjoy the benefits. The Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet are both plant-based, but include fish and poultry. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 1 in every 10 people here in the U.S. has diabetes, and up to 95% of those cases are type 2, which is lifestyle related. For today's Health Minute, I'm Britt Conway.
I apologize for a misleading lead-in, but a plant-based diet will help you if you have type 2 diabetes. Measles cases nationwide are still on the rise. As of Friday, the number of cases in the United States is at 1,164, an increase of 16 from the previous week. So far, cases have been confirmed in 30 states, including Ohio. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the best way to stay safe from the disease is to be vaccinated. They say 2 doses of the MMR vaccine are about 97% effective, and 1 dose is about 93% effective. A new study is out listing the most dangerous activities and products that can cause traumatic brain injuries for children and teens. The study, published in the journal Brain Injury, says the most common brain injuries for infants through 19-year-olds can be blamed on floors, beds, stairs, bicycles, and sports. Traumatic brain injury, or TBI, happens when a sudden trauma, such as a fall, causes damage to the brain. The study looked at 4.1 million non-fatal TBIs in children and teens between 2010 and 2013, and named beds as the biggest factor in infant and toddler TBIs. Drug makers Pfizer and Mylan are combining 2 of their businesses into a new company. Pfizer is merging their subsidiary Upjohn, the makers of drugs such as Viagra, Lipitor, and Celebrex, with Mylan to create a new U.S.-based company. Currently, Mylan is best known for making EpiPens. The combined company is expected to generate an annual revenue of around $20 billion. A woman gained access to the accounts of over 100 million Capital One users. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS. We're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Last month's Women's World Cup victory is putting a spotlight on the women's wage gap. With more on that story, we go to Ethan Sands, who is live in the newsroom. Ethan?
Thanks, Allie. The conversation about the pay gap between men and women has erupted on social media after the women's national story. Lionel Messi has been making $127 million, and now Alex Morgan is scheduled to make $1 million in 2019 only due to the World Cup.
The highest paid player in the WNBA for 2019 will be DeWanna Bonner at $127,500, while the highest paid player in the NBA for 2019 is Stephen Curry. He will be making $40.2 million. Superstar Megan Rapinoe and Senator Maria Cantwell say the championship for the women's national team highlights the importance of closing the women's pay gap.
You know, every time a woman is not paid equally, sort of everyone is not, and nobody's potential is able to be reached. Winning that World Cup was a statement about where we need to go in recognizing women's sports.
David Ridpass says women's sports needs the same exposure as men's sports.
You have still, I think, a culture that does look down on women's sports somewhat. And if women's sports get more exposure, get the marketing and media and public relations dollars that men's sports are getting, you know, people watch. I mean, you've seen Coco Gauff and Wimbledon. We, as sports fans, you know, we want to see good competition. People will watch and be quite excited and quite engaged if women are given the same exposure and the same chances that men are to compete at a very high level.
Watching women's sports and the higher exposure, women's pay should go up. And Allie, that's all I got for you. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Ethan Sands.
Thanks, Ethan. A woman has been charged with computer fraud after gaining access to more than 100 million Capital One customer accounts and credit card applications earlier this year. 33-year-old Paige Thompson, a former tech company software engineer, was arrested yesterday in connection with the security breach. According to Capital One, no credit card account numbers or login details were compromised. They also say they've fixed the vulnerability exploited in the breach and that it's unlikely the stolen data was used for fraud. Summer is coming to an end, which means it's time to start thinking about back-to-school shopping. But as Mary Maloney reports in tonight's Consumer Watch, you might be surprised with what consumers are buying.
As kids head back to school, families are planning to spend more than ever on supplies. That's according to a survey of nearly 8,000 families by the National Retail Federation. On average, parents of K through 12 students expect to drop nearly $700 this fall. The NRF data projects American households will spend the most this year on clothing and accessories. Electronics such as computers, calculators, and phones came in second on the list.
It seems that more and more schools are requiring you to have these things, so no surprise there.
And then there's back to college. Electronics are big with this crowd too, and that's where shoppers will put most of their money. They expect to spend almost $1,000 on all of their supplies before even starting classes. Some of that will go towards showing their school spirit and furnishing their new pads.
They're shopping in their university stores, and they're buying a lot of stuff for the dorm rooms.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
The pound hit its lowest level in more than 2 years today as anxiety over a potential messy Brexit continues to grow. Boris Johnson has used his first days as UK Prime Minister to double down on his threat to leave the European Union by the end of October, even without an exit agreement in place to protect trade. Earlier today, the pound nearly went below $1.21 before recovering slightly. The currency has weakened dramatically since Brits voted to leave the European Union in 2016. The San Diego Zoo is welcoming a very special new addition. After being pregnant for nearly 500 days, the zoo's southern white rhino named Victoria gave birth on Sunday. The baby boy is the first of his kind to be born in North America through artificial insemination. That's great news for the species since they're listed as near threatened, but it's even bigger news for northern white rhinos. There are only 2 of them left on Earth, and scientists hope to use southern white rhinos as surrogates for northern whites in the near future, with births like Sunday's paving the way. And now back over to...
Well, we do have some thunderstorms out there this evening. These pop-up showers are going to be moving their way into the Ohio area. A couple heavy downpours at times, so make sure you be careful out there on the roadways. Tomorrow in Athens, 84 degrees for the high temperature. We're going to have on and off rain showers for most of the day tomorrow. It could be a stormy afternoon as well. A few grumble of thunders out there. None of which should be severe. I would take a look at the 7-day forecast. Sunshine returns by your Thursday, 84 degrees. Warming up to Friday, but 86 degrees. It's going to be a very hot start to your weekend. That hot condition is going to continue into the entire weekend. Plenty of sunshine for your weekend, and 87 degrees on your Monday, 87 degrees on your Tuesday as well. It's going to be very hot and very sunny out there, so make sure you remember the sunscreen and the sunglasses out there. You don't want to hurt yourself as you're going out enjoying the sunshine out there. LA is going to be really hot. Hope you have some good plans outside.
Thank you, Blake. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. For Blake Hardesty, I'm Allie Eldridge. Have a great night.